Welcome, welcome, welcome to my lovely HP community and the 5D collective. To those who know how the depth of your own self is owned when you have the 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year old, 4 year, all your child parts, right? And so you have depth of relationship with yourself, your emotions, and your thoughts. So you love yourself deeply and you also learn about yourself deeply. You also know the depths of your very own soul. So there's a you and I in that 5D state of consciousness and frequency. The capacity to continue mindfully living and loving is by choice, and so you use the humanity and spirituality of you thanks to loving and living mindfully, spiritually, by applying mindset mindfulness and mindset practices in the day to day. So, daily in life, in your relationships, you're using an inner growth mindset and lifestyle approach, which comes with owning your sense of self. So, again, core, narrative, relational, solo. There's not charges that come up that you don't know how to see, witness, welcome, and process from here. By owning the self is the use your human name, but also you are choosing to engage your ventral vagal state, and that's when you're feeling and thinking. So you tell your body we're physically safe, and you're practicing being yourself this way. So you're practicing welcoming and processing and uncharging the emotions and the thoughts and anything that comes up from your body, heart, mind, and self. Again, you have child parts that are sleeping. Let me make this clear. That's why I've been adding the whole self, securely attached. That's what you get first with therapy if you need it. Once that's happening, now we're having a comfortable and an awareness of what happens in awareness and a choice of ventral vagal state and non-reactivity. Thanks to putting into practice the self-regulation in your ventral vagal state, so to use your social engagement system in contemplative moments, so when you're thinking contemplations, you have awareness being experienced in the state of inner ease, equanimity, and curiosity and love. And this brings the texture of thoughts and feelings to grow softer throughout the years, and eventually you have no fear of people in any way, shape, or form unless they're an actual physical threat. So your gut gets really good at picking up that which is, simply put, another human being's nervous system. And you don't need them to do anything. You trust, like I trust my gut, because it always tells me who I'm around, and it's always been spot on. And I just continue to allow myself also to not have to contemplate things this way. Men, no, you're not physically safe, but I have my men and women friends, and there you go. So how far you take living and loving mindfully, spiritually, for personal development and well-being is always going to be your choice. And for those of us who enjoy living and loving from the 5D state of consciousness and frequency, so forgiveness, unconditional love, being ourselves with our flaws, having a good time, Manny, Diego, Sid, we're all the pachas of the lovely, depth of relationship. Again, we don't turn our back. We allow Cusco to keep being Cusco. And so mindset, mindfulness, and mindset practices are consistent with our thoughts and feelings. And that's because we know that mental, emotion, physical intelligence and those planes consistently grow and become even more enriching from within you. Light body, light body, light body, rainbow body for me as a 5D mystic who embodies the empowered feminine. But if you ask a masculine, they will tell you how invigorating and energizing it is to have an integrated brain and to have a restorative embodiment self and to be self-empowered, because they know of the flow state that comes with a default mode network that is down-regulated and a prefrontal cortex that is engaged, and they know what it's like to not scan their self and other, but to be enjoying an interaction, because that's what an empowered, unconsciously loving man, woman, and they, in their complete overflow of humanity, is going to bring to the forefront. It's a mindfully living and spiritually living person, that 5D frequency that I talked to you about. And so I use a lot of different words to try and express and share as a mentor for 5D mystics and 5D mindfully living and loving people, podcast host, self-empowered individual. The masterclass is something that you all know is in the making, and spirituality retreats. As we come together, we inspire each other, but we also get to tap into our infinite higher human conscious potential experience thanks to bringing daily inner growth mindset, mindfulness, and mindset practices that lead us to maintain and or pursue consistently secure attached self in the inner world with integration and restorative embodiment. So you're not gonna be lazy or say, I want to stay in my reactiveness because you hear other people doing it. People and mystics who live and love in this mindful way that I'm talking to about build an energized, again, an invigorating life. Spirituality, for those of you who understand that spirituality is a life of meaning and connection beyond the soul self, but for the mystic, it's also more than just that. And it comes from many different religious, but also mysticism, esotericism. So I don't use technical. I use Maria's language. That's why I'm also a pseudoscience lady. I'm also good with the whole woo-woo stuff, and integrated brains are having always a good time when we're talking because we're not insecure people and our brain can't fall out of our asshole. So we know that when someone says that, it's okay, whatever. So we build genuine, secure attachment relationships. That's why they also last a lifetime, because we won't say to Cusco, we won't be friends of, we will know how to be friends with all. And we share vulnerability and the depths of our heart and soul without too much worry over heartbreak, since it doesn't overwhelm our nervous system. So whenever I've had it, I know what it is. And we expand and we look to the past, and we don't call it post-traumatic growth, because the ones of us who use mindfulness practices, we're just always in the flow state. As you get more and more familiar with this embodiment of restorative self, it's just amazing. It's not wine, it's pure bliss. And your nervous system is the social engagement. You're in what is your mammalian heritage. So we also know how to, with the unknowns, unexpecteds, and unwanteds of life, be comfortable, not overwhelmed. Now, I have a 5D body type. So again, please remember my experiences from the beginning of I'm 44. I have been determined with a whole self. I have a twin. I have a lot of reasons why I can easily navigate my inner world. So it's called vertical integration, bilateral integration. Then we have the core, narrative, solo self, relational self. There's integration, interpersonal, interpersonal. There's 9 domains that Dr. Daniel Siegel has taught me. And when you have all of this, you're able to sit in your own body and be in like the wheel of awareness. Even without meditating, I can be in the wheel of awareness that I learned again with Mindsight from Dr. Daniel Siegel. And that's why the inner growth mindset and all that we do allows people to continue getting comfortable in awareness through a flow state, thanks to, again, integration of the brain and restorative embodiment. But this is where this body, heart, and mind self, and this way of being safe for you, a secure home, no shame, no shaming you, no shaming others, no sensitive ego, no blind spots where you have a hard time thinking and feeling like that Zen master's laundry. You don't make or take things personally when you have those who are not securely attached, because you are internally securely attached and empowered with this equanimous, this non-reactive capacity, because you have the love and the forgiveness and the integrity that Jesus stood with and that I learned from him, and God taught me about humble humility, and then that the smart attachment trauma information people keep teaching me. And so for masculines that don't have a relationship to their feminine with the soul, they can have it with the self, and they will know when that happens. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But you are able to identify the genuine relationships that you're growing with healthy self with others who are like you, and then the unhealthy self with others who navigate 3D and 4D state of consciousness with dysregulated and modulated embodiment. For us, being ourselves mindfully and spiritually is what we want, and the restorative embodiment, but it isn't for everyone. There are those who do not want to achieve the level of depth of experiencing their whole self and their social engagement state consistently, because they don't go and get those first 3 years of life tended to. I found it hard to believe, they say. And then there's others who follow the very same people who have them ignoring going to get their emotional body connected. And when you're following people who are not therapists, and you know what, you don't need to, so when you're ignoring that you have structural dissociation and that you don't know how to self-regulate, you're ignoring the opportunity to gain a relationship. So whenever I see those people, it's not my job as a mindfulness practitioner, Reiki master, Akashic record reader, as a human being, to tell you that you need therapy, because it's not my job, and it's not true, because you can live your life with karma, your unconscious leading the world, like my facade friend and any other person who has ever done anything that is basically a flag without a flag post. They're not people I don't respect in the way of disrespecting them. I don't respect a coward the same way, though, I don't respect a liar. The same way I don't respect anyone who casts a stone, because Jesus taught me better. And there's a bunch of people who think that they know better because they want to shame others. And I know they don't. But it's not my job, as God told me, to go around telling the 0-1-year-old of every one of those people, plus Peter Levine, thank you so much, as he describes what a bird with a broken wing will do when unconditional love presents itself. And it's not a bird, it's a human who I won't dehumanize. It's not Lucifer either. It's a human who I won't dehumanize. So when I see anybody who's against human goodness and kindness, I know who has just been presented in front of me. And I don't look at them with respect. And I am 4'9", so I will fear. And plus the small ego, always reactive, like the fancy woman in a suit. And I'm 4'9", so again, I will automatically shut down because my body's smarter than my brain, and I taught my brain, shh, be quiet. Being yourself mindfully and spiritually, it is not for everyone again. But for those of you who want to achieve it, come on over. When our tears are out, also I offer 1-to-1. We have a masterclass in the works and spirituality retreats. So the depths of ourselves is really awesome to experience, as well as social engagement system, always having a good time. Again, not everyone is interested to tap into that level of intelligence, but for those of us who do, we get to experience the depth of each other with the soul and the heart. And this is what really has any one of us amazed. So, like Michael Jordan says, some people want it to happen, some wish it would happen, and others make it happen. Healthy adult relationships and new stories that heal trauma and that don't have trauma charges anymore once you're familiar with just emotional stuff. And it's for those who want it. And as Hesketh Pearson says, a man's character never changes radically from youth to old age. What happens is that circumstances bring out characteristics which have not been obvious to the superficial observer. And also my favorite quote is one that I created with integrity. What other people say about you doesn't matter, but you should not be ashamed of what you have done. So be you, be mindful, be flawed, but with integrity. And do remember, again, thanks Michael Jordan, some people want it to happen, some wish it would happen, others make it happen. Some people won't go and claim their inner child because they find it hard to believe that the first 3 years of life mean anything. And they also think they're badass. And we're going to have some stories in a little bit. So if you're fun with stories and want to hear, tune on into another episode. In the meantime, thank you for stopping by. Like, share, and subscribe. And if you do know people who want to live mindfully and with love and forgiveness, send them over. A whole sense of self is what you want, and if you don't have it yet, you're going to get it, and then you accompany even more. And it's really fun, by the way, to embody this integration of the brain and restorative embodiment, and then to be a safe haven, secure-based space for all people, 5D, 3D, 4D. Again, healthy, self-worth people always know how to say, this is who I am. You don't have to accept me, but this is who I am. So I'm not going to sacrifice me, you. No, this is what I can bring to the table. If we're happy and appreciate each other, great. And that's great. And there you go. And that's it. And so you build secure connections. For the romantic type, that's where it gets real fun. When you have empowered human beings. The other ones, and they actually have a lot of other stuff. I'm not going to talk about that one. So again, we'll be back in a little bit.